I tried to make a game for the Global Game Jam online, but I kind of like started on the last day, so I don't really know what I was doing. And I mean, here's what happened. Now, you probably know what a game jam is, but then just for clarification, a game jam is an event where you try to make a game within a limited amount of time around a given theme. And so the theme for this game jam was, Lost and Found. And the only thing my very smart brain could think of at this point was to make a game where you have a flashlight and you're looking for things along this very dark maze. So I got to work. Okay, so I started out by adding a first person because I wanted the game to be a first person game. I mean, it's general knowledge that when you have only one day to make a game, you have to make a first person game. This is very basic information. Everyone knows this. Making a game in first person is very cool and very simple. And then I gave the beam a flashlight so you could use it to like look around and stuff, and I decided to make the flashlight point directly at the center of the screen using ray casting. So I tried that out, and here's what happened. So I decided to just remove the code for the ray casting because it wasn't really working well, and then I positioned it just in front there. Now it won't be accurate, it won't directly point in the center, but then it works out for now. Next, I added post-processing, which was basically just glow, just that's all the post-processing I added, glow, because you know what they say, glow makes your game awesome, right? Next, I created these boxes. I don't really know what I was supposed to do with them, but yeah. And then I added this light circle thing. I felt like the map was way too dark, so I added it to just make the place a bit brighter. Next, I created this horrible flashlight because the last one was way too good for the kind of serious gameplay I was going for. And here it all is in action. Now, instead of fixing that, I decided to just go ahead and add more stuff, and hopefully when I added more stuff, the game will be fixed. So I came up with this cube thing, which is what the player is supposed to actually look for. Okay, let's try that out, and okay, that's not normal. It's actually working. Oh right, it's not. The box is supposed to be inside, and it's not inside. So at this point, I went to bed because I had worked literally the whole day, and there were still errors, and I was really tired of debugging, and so. The next day, after a lot of pointless debugging and fixing, I noticed that my debugging and fixing was actually pointless because the game jam was closed already and there was no point continuing with this anyway. So I gave up. And the next day, I continued working on the project because I really had nothing else to do, and I had failed the game jam, but then it was still a game and I could still work on it because, yeah. I didn't want to continue it in the Lost and Found theme. I didn't want the player to look for stuff anymore, and so I decided to scrap everything. I kept the flashlight and the player because that was a lot of programming and a lot of work, and I deleted just the map. The cubes are still there and everything, so I basically just changed the map to this one you can see right now, which looks beautiful, by the way. Spider design epic. After playing with materials for the map a bit, I finally added other stuff to the game, like dragging of objects, which was very interesting to play around with. You know, I was able to uh, bully this cube for no reason at all, and that was kind of fun while it lasted. I decided to add even more stuff, like this flashlight pickup. Yeah, I decided it'd be cool if the player is able to pick up the flashlight, and then I got it. It should be a level progression game where you basically solve puzzles. But then I'm not very smart and I have no idea how to make puzzles, so I had no idea where this was going to go. But then I kept on doing it, and I created this very interesting mechanic where the player is able to open doors, not by stepping on buttons as you see all the time, but then in a very, very interesting manner. You put the cube inside a bigger box and then you close the box. That's it. So after playing around in this map for a long enough time, I decided that yeah, it was boring and I needed to step things up a bit. And so I created a new map in Blender 2.7. Yes, it is Blender 2.7. And I put the map in, and there we go, nice map. Also, I added the doors and put a few cubes so you can open these doors, and then yeah. That was the whole map. And now for the end of the level, I previously used this particle effect, but then it became very boring to me very quickly, and so I removed it, and I added this hole in ground system. Now the hole in ground system is simply a hole in the ground, exactly what you thought it was, and when the player falls through this hole in the ground, it gets to a point where there's a sensor, and then it gets teleported to the next level. And the beginning of the next level is also shaped in such a way that it looks like the hole in the ground, and so you look like you were falling the whole time into the next level. And yeah, it looks pretty cool. So I just did that, basically added a few more levels. And so in the next level, after adding a few cubes and doors, it became boring, so I did the easiest thing: cubes that can damage the player. Just the same cube, but then I made it able to damage the player, and it was terrible as you expected it to be. But then I added new abilities to the box, like being able to open doors, and yeah, I definitely did get bored of shooting cubes, and so I decided to create an actual enemy, which turned out to be this guy, a bean and a few boxes. The boxes don't really do anything. The bean doesn't even do anything. What's interesting about him is that he has this gun, and the gun can shoot bullets out like crazy, just like any gun will do. And yeah, the player can shoot now, so that's cool. And yeah, that's what makes him cool. And there's this Rolly dude. Now, the Rolly dude is Rolly, and when he rolls, he's gonna attack. That's the thing about him, and he just tries to kill the player, and he definitely does kill the player, because the next level that I created is what features the Rolly dude, and the Rolly dude is just there to kill the player and make sure he doesn't go on to notice that the rest of the level is empty. And yeah, after doing this, I felt like that's a very cool game. The player has to die in the ending so he doesn't see that there is nothing more to the game. And he keeps on fighting with this guy and never succeeds. But then I felt like this was bad, so I tried to make the player believe there was something after it by adding these boxes. Now, I made the player a bit stronger, the enemy a bit weaker and slower. So yeah, you can kill this guy. It will be very hard, but then you can. And then you open one of the two doors. If you open the down door, you definitely go into the ground. And then you open the door, and yeah, you find this place. Now, this place is definitely a lot of platforms, and it does look like there is something up there, but then you can't get there. And so you have to use the boxes to build platforms that help you get there. And yeah, that's what you're watching now. Thanks for watching. This game definitely took a lot more time than I expected. You know, this whole game jam thing has been a very interesting uh, learning experience. Even though it wasn't really a game jam, it was just me wasting my time. And the exact same thing happened to me during the Wowie game jam. I noticed on the last day that the game jam had started. Not really the last day, I had some time before the last day, but then it felt like the last day, and I really didn't come up with anything useful. I didn't get anywhere at all, and I didn't want to continue working on it like this one because I probably spent a lot of time. The theme of that game jam was really interesting, and it created for lots of different ideas that sparked into my head, but I couldn't make it because yeah. I also don't think I would upload this game in its current state to itch.io right now because it's just too bad. I don't think it's playable enough. There are levels that are horrible and are 1 minute long, literally. And you know, I don't think it's good enough. So I would probably just work on it and finish up a few things before I eventually upload it and put the link in the description or something like that. Or I might never put the link and no one ever sees this ever. Or I just decide that it should be a big game project and I continue working on it. And there we have it. Flashlight. Yeah, you probably have noticed that I was trying to go for a story thing here. If you see the text that appears down below at times. Yeah, I was trying to make a story for it. But then, yeah, like I said, I'm not very smart. Yeah, and if you like this video, then please do leave a like down there, and if you want to see more awesome content like this, yeah, then please subscribe because yeah, subscription, you know, it's just cool, man. Subscribe because yeah, subscribe if you don't want to be this guy. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do.